Good afternoon, everybody. It's Tuesday the 19th of January now. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon, and you catch up with me next to a rather swollen and choppy River Avon. We had a few breakers a few minutes ago, and from that, obviously, you'll know that it's very windy as well. It's been reasonably cold weather for a few weeks now, and we've got a bit of a break in the weather, a bit of a warm front coming over. We're going to have some rain, even more rain, into this very swollen river in the next, well, starting this afternoon. So we're probably going to get wet, hence the gear. It's not that cold, it's about 10 degrees. And I've come to a club stretch that I've been in this club for a while now. Did have a bit of a break earlier in the season, but I've rejoined second half of the season. I've come to a very popular stretch, although bearing in mind the weather today and the water conditions, there's only one other guy here and he's right at the top there. The weather being as it is only spells one thing to me with a river like this, and it's Barbel. And Barbel been off the agenda a little bit on the Warwickshire Avon for me, purely because they're so few and far between these days, and you have to put a lot of hours in to get some Barbel out. But to be honest, the tributaries I like to fish as well, perhaps to go roving for chub, they're right up as well, and they're not really going to be in any state to fish for chub. So I thought I'd come down here just for a few hours. You can only fish just till it gets dark here. Just as I say, on this club stretch. With that in mind, I've got a couple of rods with me. Fish 2 rods here. As I say, they're very few and far between, so double my chances of getting a bite. I've got my RVS Power twin tip barbel rod. That's 2¼ pound. What I'm going to do, I think, is fish that more sort of mid-river, and then a little bit closer in, I'm going to fish my John Wilson barbel quiver, 1¾ test on that one. So I'm going to fish 2 rods, and I think bait wise, I'm going to go for feeders and get some ground bait in, get some nice smell in the water, because there is about, if I said 2 inches of visibility, I'll probably be exaggerating. It's probably about 1.5 inches of visibility, so we need to get some smell in the water. So some cheesy garlic ground bait is definitely a good idea, I think. And I've got some various boilies and pastes with me. I've got some maggots. I don't think I'll use them, but I bought them just in case. I've got some worms, which are often quite good in these conditions, and I've got some cheese paste as well if you fancy targeting the chub. I've done the water temperature. I did forgot to mention, I did come and have a wander down here yesterday. Actually, I did the water temperature. It was just over 5 degrees. I've just done it again now, and it's just under 7, so it's come up 2 degrees with the rain we've had in the night, which is fantastic. The river's on the rise as well, so I think winter conditions, we're not going to get any better than this. So that's why I've come down here. As I said, probably going to get wet, going to get soaking, but you never know. Unless you've got bait in the water, you're not going to catch, are you? So let's get set up, get these rods set up, and we'll have a go. If it does not start raining too badly, I think I'm going to have a little move across there and sit a bit aside onto it, because at the moment it's absolutely banging me in the face. Sitting here in the rain would be absolutely horrendous. We'll cross that bridge as and when. Hopefully you can hear me okay. The mic's nice and furry, so hopefully you should be able to hear me okay. But it would be good if we could stay in this position. I'm just in got a nice position here for the rods. Obviously got them up in the air because of the amount of current that's going through. Just let a little bow of line off as well. It's not too bad. I've got a 4-ounce lead or feeder on the far rod, sit out in the middle, and a 3-ounce on the one closer in. It's just the anticipation now of that rod tip tapping away. Well guys, this wind is picking up and up and up and up, so I'm going to move about 2 meters to my left so that I can sit at a different angle to the water and to the rods, and not have to stare into this spacer that's blowing, according to the Met Office, at 40 miles an hour, which is why my eyes are streaming. Right, let's have a move. So it's 4 o'clock, starting to rain, and nothing has happened at all. Absolutely nothing. But it's just the time now when I would expect something to happen. Probably got about another hour left till we need to leave. So fingers crossed and toes. We can winkle something out. Should be good. Good afternoon guys, it's just about the afternoon, it's about 12:30 now, 1:45. Back down the Avon, as you can probably just about see over there in the distance. Thought I'd do this intro from the car park because it's reasonably sheltered here, because it's absolutely blowing a gale and chucking it down with rain. It's going to chuck down all afternoon until it gets dark, apparently, when it will clear up. That's the forecast at the moment. The river is high and rising as well. So really, I think it's pushing through. I've had a quick look over here. It is pushing through. So I think what I'm going to do is really target the barbel. That's the main plan. I'm going to have a roving session today. That's what I'm going to do. Got all my wet weather gear on. Got my waders on as well, so I'm waterproof up to here anyway. And I'm going to go with my RVS twin tip 2¼ pound test curve rod. that'll be the mainstay. I think I'm going to take another rod as well, just in case we do find a swim I can fish 2 rods. But I think probably going to go on a 1 rod approach. That's the plan. Have a rover bait. It's easy enough to carry just 1 more rod. I've got some nice cheesy garlic smelly ground bait, and baits I've got with me. I've got some lobworms, which are always good in flood conditions, which this is, and as I say, it's rising. I've got some maggots as well, which I may use, may not. I'm not sure at all at the moment. I've got some cheese paste in case you fancy a dabble for some chub. Find any nice slacks, we can have a go for some chub. I've got some paste wrap boilies as well, really, which will be the main target for the barbel. Walk this stretch only once ever. Someone's after me already. Walk this stretch once only ever, and that was 2 summers ago. So it's going to look a lot different now. As driving in, all the fields are covered in water. As you can see, as well, as you can probably just see a car there. There's one other guy here. I've just bumped into the bailiff actually on the way out. There's one other guy here. I'm not sure where he is, but obviously we'll give him plenty of room. There's a big old stretch here to go out. I'm not going to crowd anybody, but I'm not sure where he is, so we'll go and find him, and we'll have a rove and see what we can find. But apologies for lots of wind noise and lots of pitter patter of water and rain on the microphone, but it's going to be a wet one. Anyway, enough talking. I better speak to whoever this is before we get over there. As I say, enough talking. We'll get a wander up the stretch and we'll see what we can find. So guys, I've had a walk up the stretch, and I discovered this, as you can see behind me, sticking out into this lovely chocolate brown water. It's a lovely snag. It's pushing the flow to 3/4 of the way across to the other side. It's putting a lovely crease in the water about halfway across. So what I'm going to do, I think, is I've put a bit of bait in here. I'm going to start here, but there's also another one downstream of me there with a big black pipe in it, as you can see. But that's doing pretty much the same thing in the next next swim down, which is perhaps 40 metres away, something like that, just down there. So I've put a bit of bait in there. I'm walking up, and I say I've put a little bit of bait in here. Looks a good spot to get 2 rods out and push one right out on the crease and one a little bit closer in here. But yeah, looks good. I haven't done the water temperature yet, but I'm sure it's going to be up. Yesterday was 6.5-ish by the time I left. But it's been raining all night and it's been 10-11 degrees all night, so it's got to have warmed the water up, and that, I'm thinking, can only be a good thing. It's still raining now, as you can see. So enough talking. I'm going to get the baits in the water and see how we get on. As I mentioned, a couple of rods, so I can certainly fish a couple of rods in here comfortably. It'd be nice to fish one in the slack actually, and one out in the current. Get this sorted out, untangled. There we go. So I think I'm going to go on the feeder. I think what I might do on the closer in rod is try the maggot feeder. With perhaps a lobworm on as bait, or maybe even maggots. Might be worth half an hour or an hour, see if we can get something going. On slipping down here a bit, I'm sat on the floor as per usual for me. Yeah, I think we'll get on the maggot feeder on the closer in rod. See what we can do with that. A reasonably short hook link on. We'll cast nice and regularly as well. Stopped again. It's very, very mild. I've got to take some more layers off. I've walked up here and it's really warm. What I'm going to do, I think, is go on one of these rigs that I've got. I'll show you. Get it off here. So what I've done is tied up some fluorocarbon hook links. 10-pound IQ fluorocarbon hook links, nice and stiff. I do like the stiffness. Just straighten it out. They get a bit coiled. Straighten them out over your knee. What I've done is just tied them with the hair, as you can probably see there. I've got 3 fake maggots on the hair, what I'm going to do is put 3 or 4 real maggots on that hook. It's about size 10 I think, or 12, called a curve shank. They are a big 10 or 12 as well. They're proper manly hooks. I think it might be worth going on this. We may catch lots of roach or even some nice roach. Not particularly sporting on barbel gear, but you know, we might also get a barbel going. They're after smaller baits, and I think what I'll do on the other rod is fish a ground bait feeder a bit further out. We'll get that one right out in the current, or near the current in the crease if you like, and see what we can do. Right. What I've done as well, you can probably see there, I've got these maggots, and I've had them for quite a while, but they've been sitting in boilie crumb. So they should have some nice smell to them as well. That's the idea, because there is about an inch of visibility in here. So let's put that over there. Right in that current, feel that down. Donk, that's nice. It's a bit of a suck it and see here. I've not really fished this, well, haven't fished this stretch before up here. Just had that one session yesterday for a couple of hours. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. These tips in the air because there's still a bit of a current pulling. It's nice to see them against the sky as well. I'll set this one up. See how it goes. To be honest, I think realistically, fishing for one fish, you know, certainly not going to catch more than one barbel. If you catch some chub, fantastic. Not a problem with that at all. Even bought some cheese paste with me. I do fancy targeting a chub, see any chubby looking spots. I'm going to try, I say, lobworm and maggots on that rod, or maggots like I've got on at the moment. And on this rod we'll go big guns, and we'll put a boilie on. To my got some camo, quarter camo braid there, I should say. Just stripped the last inch or so off, and I've got a size 6 quarter curve shank on there. Hear me mentioning quarter a lot. Do like quarter stuff. I'm not sponsored or anything. I have to buy it all, but I do rate it, really rate it. And I've got a D-rig kicker on there, just give you that nice aggressive hooking angle, and it can hold my bait screw there as well. So I've got some boilies that have been sat in here for, and I really do mean this when I say it, they've been in here for about 2 years. You know, they live in the fridge or the freezer. Shelf life boilies, it's not a problem. But they've been glugging for, I'll say, 2 years. I'm going to wrap them in matching paste as well. So the flavour and scent trail coming off this should be enormous. What I do as well, I paste wrap just the boilie, not the hook. So I had somebody ask me this question. But that's how I do it. Hook's always free, like that. I think we need a 4-ounce feeder. That's a 4-ounce, I think. I'll read it. Let's see, this is a 4-ounce. just nice that it's not absolutely chucking it down with rain as well. If it stays like this, it'll be great. It's just sort of on and off, on and off. I'm quite sheltered here as well. There's a big bank, you can probably see in front of me there. The wind's sort of coming from that way, so it's quite sheltered here. It's nice. Right. Get this great thing out over there. That's gone down with a lovely donk as well. Right, lovely job. You can see I've got a lovely maggot box there. Find a use for everything, can't you, if you want to. Just also you get to eat all the chocolates first. Of course, I don't know if you can see that, it's nice and warm, 10.5 degrees nearly. Do the water. It'd be nice if it's risen, but nothing too drastic, hopefully. Good if it's above 7. Well, the water's looking like it's 8.2, which is up a lot. Yesterday was, what did I say, about 6.5, so it's over a degree. And then getting on for 2 degrees. Some deer over there on the other side, if you can see that, running past. Stag with them. Wonderful stuff. Well, guys, nothing doing here. Time for a move, I think. Yeah. I've got all got this snag, as I say, downstream of me here. I think before I get in there, I'm going to go for a wander a bit further up the stretch. And I'll look up there yet. go for a walk up there, and if anything good, we'll fish it. If there's not, we'll come back and fish down in that one there. Well guys, just dropped into a tiny little swim. Not really swim, I don't think, to be honest. Just in the middle of some tree, just fishing down to a snag. Just above a snag, if you like. So 5 or 10 minutes in here, I think. We're going to have a roam down the stretch, work my way back to the car. So absolutely nothing as of yet, apart from got snagged up and lost all my gear. So I've had to set up again. Apart from that, nothing at all. Well guys, we've done a few swims as you've seen. It's about 3:45 now, something like that. I'm starting to think about where to settle into for dark, and I thought perhaps I'd go down towards the car park where I was yesterday, but the guy who's here, Robin, he's gone down there. So I think what I'm going to do is move a little bit further along to sort of by where he was fishing earlier. He's clearly moved. I haven't spoken to him, but he's you know, you don't move if you catch a fish, do you? So he's clearly moved because he wasn't catching anything. But I think I might drop into the swim, or certainly near where he was. Clearly he hasn't done any good this afternoon, but which I'm guessing that's why he moved. But as I say, he's down sort of where I was thinking of going, so I'm obviously not going to go down there and disturb him. So I'll perhaps move a little bit further along here, sort of working my way down the stretch as I was. Yeah, time for a move. Do much prefer fishing one rod these days, I have to say, but when you're roving, and even when you're stationary, it gives you so many more options having two rods. You know, limited time on the bank, certainly this time of year when it gets dark early. You know, I can cover these swims, I can cover each area of the swim much quicker and do two different baits at the same time in a swim. And it is definitely an advantage. You know, you can stick one rod out in the current, one rod on the crease, one rod in the slack, you know, and keep changing them over and do a swim in effect, you know, much quicker than just having one rod. But clearly, obviously, on smaller rivers, it's you only really need one rod. But it's definitely an advantage, helping me cover these swims a lot quicker, having the two rods out. But even with two rods, we're still blanking. I have had a couple of knocks in this swim on lobworm, but it looked like roach or a little perch or something. You know, the tips just tapped a few times. Nothing came of it. But as I say, I'm convinced it's smaller fish. Right, I think we'll have a move. I think it's just starting to think about getting dark. Certainly, the light levels are low because of the thick cloud cover. So yeah, I think time for another move. So good. It's raining again. Let's throw the dice, I think, this swim. I think, same as I have been doing pretty much. Maggot feeder on one rod and paste wrap boilie on the other. I'll move between maggots and lobworms on this rod. Just see if the barbel fancy coming out at dusk. I think the feeding opportunities, feeding spells at this time of year probably quite short, so we may get a chance and get a bite yet. Who knows? Well guys, that's me done. Nothing doing at all today. Absolutely nothing. I've had a couple of little tiny taps on worms, but that's it. I spoke to the other guy who was here, Robin, about an hour or so ago, before it got dark, and he was saying it was struggling as well, having a few taps on worms, but that was it. So nothing doing, unfortunately. But I have to say, I've really enjoyed that, bizarre as it sounds, in the wind and the rain, and not getting any bites, but I have really enjoyed that. It's nice to suss out a new stretch, certainly, and I can come and fish here the rest of the season, and of course next season as well. So apologies for the lack of fish, but threw everything at them on the kitchen sink, but they weren't having any of it, so, so that's the way it is, I'm afraid. Good afternoon, guys. It's day 3 and a day I wasn't really intending on having of fishing a up and rising River Avon. So you can probably see through the trees we've had another night of torrential rain, and I've had to park my car up the lane because that's the car park. If you can see that. Now I've nipped down here, couldn't get down here till late. It's gone 3 o'clock now, and just grabbed a rod out of the car. I've come down and done the water temperature. It's actually only gone down a little bit. It's only down to 7.9. So I've come just on the off chance, and to spend maybe an hour and a half down here, just as I say, on the off chance perhaps we can winkle out a fish, possibly a barbel, who knows. But I've got to get through that lot first of all. So I'm going to wade across the car park, and we'll have a mooch down. To be honest with you, I would like to go across that side there, but I don't really have time to wade all across that field, and also being on my own, there's lots of ups and downs, there's a little ditch across it and stuff, and if I go AOT I'm in trouble on my own. So I'm going to stay relatively safe, walk across the car park at the other side, and we're going to have a mooch down there, I think. Come on. So guys, here we are. Found a half decent bit of water. There's a nice crease out there, bit of slack on the inside. Not really going to particularly fish the slack, but I just like to fish on the crease. That would be good. Water's fairly steady through here as well, so I can go a little bit further out if I want. Problem is I'm going to have to get in down here because it's over a tree. It's only about knee deep down here, so I'm going to get in down here, set the rod up down there. I haven't got a rear rod rest unfortunately, so I'm going to have to fashion one in native style. So yeah, I'm gonna get the gear set up down here, and we'll have a casting. Well guys, nothing doing at all yet. Starting to get dark as you can see, but wow, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Well guys, just about curfew time now. As you can see, a little bit of light left in the sky. It's just gone 5 o'clock, and in the absence of this bait runner screaming in the next 30 seconds or so, and it's another blank. Disappointed, of course, but I can't say I'm overly surprised. The barbel population in the Avon here is just going down and down and down. So it's been a very enjoyable time anyway. We've had that wonderful sunset tonight. I've actually really enjoyed it, despite not having caught any barbel. Surprised really that we haven't had any chub, although, you know, not great floodwater lovers, are they, chub? But still a little bit surprised we haven't had any chub. But the whole river seems off. I've got a few friends who've been out the last few days and they've all struggled too. So it does seem to be that the whole river's a little bit off. Maybe it's some pollution or something washed into the water, you know, I don't know, sort of agricultural wash off, who knows, but there you go, it is what it is. We've been out, we've had a go, and that's the main thing, isn't it? And as I say, I've really enjoyed that. So all there is left to do is to say thank you very much for watching. Tight lines, I should be out again in the near future, but most probably on a tributary, because they do drop faster, and probably chasing Mr. Chub, I would imagine. Tight lines, enjoy your own angling if you get out, and I'll see you again very soon.